There is a fascinating conversation happening around the Los Angeles Lakers right now, and it revolves around one very intriguing tactical option that could become a major factor when the intensity of the playoffs arrives. For a long time, discussions about the Lakers have focused heavily on their traditional big men and how the team manages the center position throughout a game. But lately, another element has started to stand out more and more whenever this team steps on the court, and that is the effectiveness of their small ball lineups. It is not just a theoretical idea anymore. We have already seen glimpses of how dangerous this approach can be when it is deployed at the right moment. When looking ahead to playoff rotations, the expectation is still that the Lakers will rely primarily on their traditional centers for most of the game. The bulk of those minutes will naturally go to DeAndre Ayton, who brings size, rim protection, and the ability to anchor the paint on both ends of the floor. Alongside him, Jackson Hayes is likely to play a complementary role, giving the team additional energy, athleticism, and physical presence in shorter stretches. Combined, those two players will probably cover a significant portion of the minutes at the center position each night. However, the interesting part begins when you start to consider what happens during the remaining moments of the game. Those extra minutes open the door for a completely different look, and that is where the Lakers' small ball strategy comes into play. Instead of relying on a traditional center, the team can spread the floor with versatile players who bring a mix of size, mobility, and shooting. This approach allows the offense to operate with more space, forcing opposing defenses to stretch beyond their comfort zone. When the floor opens up like that, it becomes much easier for players to attack off the dribble, collapse the defense, and create open looks for teammates around the perimeter. One of the key reasons this strategy works is because of the type of players the Lakers have available. Rui Hachimura, for example, plays a major role in making these smaller lineups viable. Even though he is not a traditional center, his strong base and physical style allow him to defend bigger opponents without getting pushed around easily. That ability gives the coaching staff confidence to use him in matchups where size might normally be a concern. Instead of being a weakness, it actually becomes an advantage when combined with the speed and versatility of the rest of the lineup. Another fascinating aspect of this approach is the way LeBron James fits into the equation. Throughout his career, he has proven that he can effectively play multiple positions depending on what the team needs in a given moment. When the Lakers go small, LeBron can essentially function as a point center, initiating the offense while still being strong enough to battle inside when necessary. That combination of playmaking and physicality gives the Lakers a completely different dynamic that many teams struggle to adjust to. We have already seen this kind of lineup create problems for opponents in recent games. When the Lakers spread the floor with shooters and versatile defenders, the entire rhythm of the game changes. Players like Austin Reeves can attack gaps in the defense, while perimeter shooters force defenders to stay honest beyond the arc. The result is a much more fluid offensive system where the ball moves quickly and defenses are constantly scrambling to keep up. What makes this even more dangerous is the number of players who can contribute to that style. When multiple ball handlers and shooters share the floor, the Lakers gain the ability to break down defenses from several different angles. Dribble penetration becomes more effective because help defenders are hesitant to leave dangerous shooters open. Every drive into the lane suddenly becomes a potential chain reaction that leads to open three-point shots or easy finishes near the rim. Defensively, the small ball lineup also presents interesting possibilities. With several mobile players on the court, the Lakers can switch more aggressively and apply pressure across multiple positions. Instead of relying solely on a traditional rim protector, the defense becomes more dynamic, collapsing toward the ball and then quickly rotating back out to the perimeter. This kind of wave-like defensive movement can frustrate opposing offenses that rely heavily on set plays and structured spacing. Of course, the true question is whether this strategy will hold up consistently in the high-pressure environment of the playoffs. It is one thing to experiment with small ball during the regular season, but postseason basketball is a completely different challenge. Teams adjust faster, weaknesses are targeted more aggressively, and every possession becomes more meaningful. That is why the success of these lineups cannot be measured purely by theory or brief stretches of good play. The real test will come when the stakes are at their highest. Still, there are already strong signs that this approach could become a valuable weapon. In several recent matchups, the Lakers used their small ball units to shift the momentum of the game. When the offense began to stagnate or when the team needed a sudden burst of energy, those lineups injected speed, spacing, and unpredictability into the flow of the game. Opponents that were previously comfortable defending the paint suddenly had to chase shooters and guard multiple ball handlers on the perimeter. Another important factor is how these lineups match up against different teams around the league. Many opponents rely heavily on one dominant interior presence. But if that player is not a major offensive threat, the Lakers can use mobility and spacing to neutralize their impact. By forcing those big men to defend in space, the Lakers create situations where size becomes less of an advantage and sometimes even a liability. This flexibility is what makes the Lakers such an interesting team to watch as the postseason approaches. Instead of being locked into one specific style of play, they have the ability to shift between traditional lineups and smaller, faster combinations depending on the matchup. That kind of adaptability can be incredibly valuable over the course of a long playoff series, especially when adjustments become the difference between winning and losing. And the more we see these small ball units on the court, the more it becomes clear that this strategy might play a bigger role than many people originally expected. Another important element that makes this small ball approach so intriguing for the Lakers is how it can disrupt the rhythm of opposing teams that rely heavily on traditional frontcourt play. In many matchups around the league, teams still prefer to operate through a dominant big man who anchors both the offense and the defense. But when the Lakers switch to a quicker, more versatile lineup, those traditional structures can begin to break down. Suddenly, larger centers are forced to defend on the perimeter, chase shooters around screens, and make rapid decisions in space. That shift alone can change the entire tempo of a game. Spacing becomes the central weapon in those moments. When the Lakers place several capable shooters on the floor at the same time, the defense has to stretch far beyond the paint. Rui Hachimura's presence is especially valuable here because he combines size with reliable perimeter shooting. Defenders cannot simply sag off him and pack the lane because he has proven that he can punish that mistake with consistent outside scoring. When a player with that kind of frame is also capable of spacing the floor, it creates a dilemma for opposing defenses that do not have an easy solution. At the same time, the offensive versatility of players like Austin Reaves plays a huge role in making the system function smoothly. Reaves is comfortable operating with the ball in his hands, attacking closeouts, and creating opportunities both for himself and for teammates. In small ball units where the floor is wide open, his ability to read the defense becomes even more dangerous. A single defensive misstep can turn into a driving lane, and once the defense collapses to stop the penetration, the ball quickly swings to an open shooter waiting beyond the arc. LeBron James remains one of the most critical pieces of this entire concept. Even at this stage of his career, his ability to control the tempo of the game is remarkable. When the Lakers shift into a small lineup, LeBron essentially becomes the engine that powers everything. He can push the pace in transition, orchestrate half-court offense, and physically overpower smaller defenders when attacking the basket. At the same time, he still possesses the court vision to find open teammates the moment the defense rotates out of position. The beauty of these lineups is that they can be adjusted depending on what the Lakers need in a particular moment. Sometimes the emphasis might lean more toward offense, placing multiple shooters and playmakers on the floor to overwhelm defenses with scoring potential. In other situations, the team can prioritize defense by surrounding a primary ball handler with long, physical defenders who can switch across positions and apply constant pressure. That kind of flexibility allows the Lakers to respond quickly when the momentum of a game begins to shift. Defense in these small ball situations often becomes a collective effort rather than relying on a single rim protector. Players rotate quickly, collapse toward the paint when necessary, and then recover back to their assignments on the perimeter. When executed properly, this style creates a swarm effect that makes it difficult for opposing offenses to find clean scoring opportunities. Passing lanes shrink, driving angles disappear, and possessions often become rushed as the shot clock winds down. Rebounding is another area where the Lakers have quietly found ways to remain competitive even without a traditional center on the floor. Because many of their players possess strong frames and good positioning instincts, they can still secure rebounds through effort and teamwork. Instead of relying on one dominant rebounder, the responsibility is shared across the lineup. Multiple players crash the boards at the same time, which helps compensate for the lack of a true 7-footer protecting the rim. The physical profile of the Lakers roster also plays an important role in making this strategy possible. Many of their rotation players fall into a similar height range, with several wings standing around 6'7" or 6'8", while still maintaining enough strength to battle inside. That unique balance allows the team to deploy lineups that are technically small but still possess significant size compared to typical guard-heavy units used by other teams. Because of this, the Lakers can remain surprisingly large even when they remove a traditional center from the court. Instead of fielding undersized guards, they often place multiple long wings on the floor at the same time. That length allows them to contest shots, disrupt passing lanes, and maintain defensive versatility across nearly every position. For opponents, it becomes difficult to identify a clear mismatch because nearly every defender shares a similar combination of size and mobility. Looking ahead toward potential playoff matchups, this versatility could become extremely valuable. Certain teams rely heavily on speed and perimeter play, while others depend on interior dominance. The Lakers now have the option to adjust their approach based on which style they are facing. Against quicker teams, the small ball lineup can match pace and maintain defensive flexibility. Against teams built around traditional centers, the strategy can stretch the floor and pull those big defenders away from the paint. Even against some of the stronger contenders, the Lakers' size across the roster could present interesting challenges. Many teams rely on guards who stand closer to 6'3" or 6'4", while the Lakers frequently place multiple taller wings on the court simultaneously. That difference might not always show up immediately on the stat sheet, but over the course of a long playoff series, it can gradually wear down opposing lineups. Rui Hachimura's physical strength is particularly valuable in those situations. When smaller defenders attempt to guard him, he has the ability to back them down and create scoring opportunities closer to the basket. When larger defenders try to challenge him, his outside shooting forces them to respect the perimeter. That dual threat makes him a difficult matchup whenever the Lakers decide to spread the floor. All of these elements combine to create a strategic tool that the Lakers can deploy at key moments during a game. It is not necessarily a system designed to dominate every possession from start to finish. Instead, it acts more like a spark that can change the momentum when the offense slows down or when the team needs a burst of energy. By briefly shifting into this faster, more open style of play, the Lakers can generate scoring runs that swing the balance of a game. The recent games have already provided a glimpse of how impactful these stretches can be. When the Lakers increase the pace, move the ball quickly, and allow their versatile players to operate in space, the offense begins to flow in a completely different way. Defenses struggle to keep up with the constant movement, and the game suddenly becomes far more chaotic for opponents trying to maintain their defensive structure. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, the basketball world is buzzing with speculation as whispers surrounding LeBron James' future with the Los Angeles Lakers reach a fever pitch. Recent reports suggest that the superstar could be contemplating a move that would shake the NBA to its core. According to sources familiar with the matter, the Golden State Warriors have reportedly tabled an offer for the veteran forward, sparking an avalanche of speculation among fans, analysts, and even rival franchises. While details of the proposal remain scarce, insiders claim it includes a combination of high-profile players and draft considerations, signaling that the Warriors are serious about bolstering their championship ambitions. LeBron, who has spent the majority of his career redefining what it means to be a generational talent, now faces a pivotal decision. His current contract with the Lakers has been the subject of intense scrutiny, with murmurs of potential extensions colliding with rumors of a dramatic departure. Lakers management has yet to issue a statement, but sources indicate that internal discussions are ongoing, weighing the implications of retaining their franchise cornerstone versus exploring a trade that could reshape the team's future. Fans across the league are taking to social media in droves, dissecting every interview, Instagram post, and cryptic comment for clues about the star's intentions. The potential move has ignited debates about loyalty, legacy, and the evolving nature of player mobility in the modern NBA. Pundits are already speculating on how LeBron's hypothetical relocation could impact team dynamics, championship windows, and even rivalries that have defined the past decade. While nothing is confirmed, one thing is clear. The possibility of LeBron suiting up for a new team is enough to put the entire league on edge, reminding everyone why his every move is more than just a transaction. It's a seismic event in professional basketball. As the rumor mill continues to churn, analysts are emphasizing patience, noting that high-stakes negotiations of this magnitude often involve layers of strategy, timing, and behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Until an official announcement is made, the NBA stands in collective suspense, with fans and franchises alike imagining the ripple effects of one of the sport's most iconic figures potentially changing the course of his storied career. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.